What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ravi Wadden, and today I want to talk about an amazing lease deal on a 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL all-wheel drive. Now, the national lease terms or the national lease deal for this Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL all-wheel drive is incredible. But on DriveMatch.com, we have an even better deal than the national lease offer, and that's what we're going to cover in this video. So what we'll do in the first part of this video is we'll go to DriveMatch.com and we'll talk about this lease deal, and we'll kind of analyze this lease deal in detail. We'll go over the mileage, where it's located, where it can be shipped, and discuss every single cost, all the costs and any other questions that you may have. And then what we'll do is we'll quickly compare it to the national lease offer, and I want to show you why it's a better lease deal in terms of value than the national lease offer. And the best part about DriveMatch is this deal is pre-negotiated. Meanwhile, the national lease offer, you take that to a dealer may agree to honor that price and they may not agree to honor that price. But anyways, then in the second part of this video, what we'll do is we'll run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this particular Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL. And then really quickly at the end of this video, I'll show you why it makes sense to lease this particular car over financing this particular car. So if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and jump into the computer behind me, and please be sure to like this video and please be sure to follow or subscribe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on DriveMatch.com, and as you can see, we have a lot of inventory available right now, but for purposes of this video, what we're going to be doing is looking at this 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL. Now, as you can see, this is the all-wheel drive trim, which is awesome, especially for those of you living in the Northeast or anywhere where you get some inclement weather. I think the all-wheel drive really does come in handy. And as you can see, we have 4 different cars available. Now, for purposes of this video, what we'll do is we'll just focus on this deal number 1, which is the digital teal Ioniq 5. Now, as you can see, you can lease this particular car for just $330 a month, plus tax on the payment, with just $3,000 due at signing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you see this little pop-up here, the $3,000 that's due at signing on DriveMatch.com, it includes your first month's payment, it includes dealer fees, vendor fees, straight registration fees, and acquisition fees, and it also includes any taxes that you owe on rebates. Because remember, this qualifies for the $7,500 EV tax credit, and the dealers or the manufacturers give that to you in the form of a rebate. So taxes on that alone would be roughly $750. So this $3,000 that's due at signing includes everything. It's your total out-of-pocket cost. Now, as you can see here, this is a 24-month lease. The MSRP on this particular vehicle is around $52,000. The discount that we've negotiated is 6.8%, and the mile allowance is 12,000 miles a year. And the vehicle is located in Maryland in the greater Washington, D.C. area. And if you wanted to go ahead and pick this car up in person, there would be no shipping fee. But if you wanted to have it shipped, you can get this vehicle shipped. Now, if you click on View Details, you'll see additional details about this car, including where you can get this deal. So as you can see here, you can get this deal in many states across the country. And as I mentioned, you can get this car shipped to your door for a quote, which you'll see on the next page. So if we go ahead and click on Customize Deal, here you'll see some new features that we've added to DriveMatch.com. Now, as you can see here, this defaults to a 24-month lease that allows for 12,000 miles a year. Now, a lot of people ask, hey, what about if I want 15,000 miles a year? Well, you'll see that at 24 months and 12,000 miles a year, the payment is $381 a month, and this is after sales tax on the payment. Now, if I wanted to do 15,000 miles a year, you'll see that the payment increases to $429 a year. Now let's go ahead and revert this back to 12,000 miles. You'll also see that you can select eligible rebates. So, you don't have to second guess what rebates does this car qualify for. Like when you go and shop for a car on your own, you don't really know what rebates do you even qualify for. So as you can see, there's a graduate rebate for new college graduates. There's a military rebate and a first responder rebate as well. So if you qualify for the military rebate, you just select this. You read this eligibility section to make sure you are eligible, and you'll see that it is a $500 rebate. And if you hit I qualify, you'll see these payment automatically adjust. So let's go ahead and hit I qualify, and you'll see the payment drop from $381 to $358 a month. Now let's go ahead and undo that. Another cool thing that you can do now with DriveMatch is you can dynamically adjust the due at signing amount. So, right, I always tell people you want to put the least amount of money down as possible. And in this case, the vendor has agreed to a minimum due at signing amount, which is set by the dealer or the vendor. We kind of use them interchangeably here at DriveMatch. But with just $1,000 a month due at signing, again, this is your total due at signing. You won't have to pay anything else. So this is tax, title, license, fees, everything, $1,000. And everything else is rolled into the payment. But as you see, the monthly payment does increase to $475 a month. Now, in terms of, is there a benefit to doing $1,000 down versus $3,000 down? What I try to tell everyone is try to put the least amount of money down as possible. There is no financial advantage of putting $5,000 down versus $1,000 down. All you're doing is prepaying your lease. So try to do the least amount down as possible anytime you're shopping for a lease, whether it's on DriveMatch or on your own. Now, let's go ahead and say that I like this deal as it's structured. I'm going to just revert this back to $3,000, just to its default setting. Now, let's say that, I like this. I like these terms. I want to lease this car. What you do is you just hit on add to cart, view breakdown, and it's going to redirect you to the next page. And now what you want to do is just verify everything. I got a 24-month lease allowed for 12,000 miles a year. And the cool thing here is that we do have the residual value listed. So it's 60%. That means that after 24 months, this car is going to maintain 60% of its value. Or what that means, in other words, is you can buy this car for $31,000 and some change. So for all of you out there that don't think, a lease is just a long-term rental, or you think a lease is a long-term rental, remember that you do have the option to buy out this car at the end of the lease term. Does it always make financial sense to do so? No, but do you have the option to do so? Yes. Now you'll see that there is a disposition fee, estimated taxes, your final monthly payment, pre-tax monthly payment, and then you have a shipping fee estimate. Now the zip code that I'm using is 1101, as you can see down here, and shipping from the DC metro area to 1101 is going to cost me approximately $500. Now if I wanted to move forward, I would just acknowledge and tick all of these boxes here and then select on check out deal. Now what I want to do in this part of the video is run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this Hyundai Ioniq 5 and on the national lease offer. Now this is the Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL. It's the same exact car that we have on DriveMatch.com, the same trim. And as you can see, it says at $299 a month. It's a 24-month lease with $3,480 due at signing. So let's go ahead and compare this lease offer on Hyundai.com to the lease offer on DriveMatch.com. So let's go ahead and start with the Hyundai lease offer. I'm going to just bust out the handy dandy calculator, and what we'll do is try to find an effective monthly payment. So what your monthly payment would be with $0 down, assuming all taxes, fees, everything is rolled into the payment. So doing a true sign and drive, lease. So what we'll do is we'll take the $3,480 that's due at signing, and we'll subtract $299 from that, since the $299 monthly payment is included in the due at signing amount. And that gives me $3,181. Now what I'm going to do is add, let's just add $1,500 on top of this, because this $3,480 that you see right here, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't include taxes, titles, fees, anything like that. And you'll see it right here in the fine print. Let me just take a second and see if I can find it. It's usually listed. Oh, it's the first thing that's listed. So offer disclaimer excludes tax, title, and license, as you can see right here. So let's just say $1,500 for tax, title, and license, and I think that's being quite conservative. So let's add $1,500 to that, and then we'll divide this by 24, since this is a 24-month lease, and that gives me $195. So what I did is I took that total due at signing, and I broke it up into 24 equal parts, and that gives me $195. Now I'm going to add the monthly payment of $299 back in, and that gives me $494. And what I'm going to do is multiply this by 1.1 to account for 10% sales tax. I'm going to go with a 10% sales tax rate just to be conservative again. And that gives me an effective monthly payment of $543. What I'm going to do is actually write this on my notebook so I remember it. $543. So when I say effective monthly payment, this is your monthly payment when you do a sign and drive lease. All taxes, fees, registration, everything rolled in to the payment. $543 a month. And if I actually divide this by this vehicle's MSRP, which is listed in the fine print, it was listed yesterday. Oh, here it is, $52,765. Let's divide this by 52,765, and I'll multiply this by 100 to make it a percentage. I get 1.029 or 1.03%, right, ladies and gentlemen? So this is, anytime you get a number under 1.5%, it's a great deal. If you get a number over 1.5%, typically not a great lease deal. And that's comparing it to, finance payments for the same car. If you get a number under 1.25%, that's a great deal. And if you get a number under 1%, that's an amazing deal. And this sitting at 1.02% is, it's borderline amazing deal, right? It's pretty much a 1% lease deal. But the thing with national lease offers is, right, depending on the dealer, they may or may not honor this. Whereas on DriveMatch.com, we have this car, we have 4 of them available, and there's no negotiating. We pre-negotiated these lease deals on your behalf. So there's no question of whether this car will be available at this price or not. And if I run the 1.25% rule of leasing on, for instance, this digital teal Hyundai Ioniq 5, you'll see that if I take the $3,000 that's due at signing, and I'm not gonna add anything to this $3,000 because this due at signing amount, again, is your total out of pocket. I'll subtract $330 from this amount, since that's included in the due at signing amount, and then I'll divide this by 24, and then I'll add the monthly payment of $330 back in, and I'll multiply this by 1.1 to account for 10% sales tax, and I get $485 a month. So my monthly payment is $485, effective monthly payment with everything rolled in, doing a sign and drive is $485 a month. And on the Hyundai deal, the effective monthly payment, if you remember, was $543 a month. So you're saving roughly, about $60 a month by using DriveMatch, and you save a ton of time. And if I actually divided this by 52,765, because the MSRP on the DriveMatch car is also 52,765. Let's divide this by 52,765 and multiply by 100. You'll see that you get 0.919, so 0.92%. Which is an amazing lease deal, right? So this is a sub 1% lease deal. So this is this lease deal comes in at 0.91%, whereas this lease deal on Hyundai came in at 1.03, slightly over 1%. Not to say that this is a bad lease deal. Like, I'm not saying that. Like, if you get this lease deal at your, at your closest Hyundai dealer, like maybe you're in California or in the West Coast and you can't get this DriveMatch deal, or it's not available where you live. Getting this deal as it's written is great. That's fantastic. Good for you. I would go ahead and do this if I were shopping for this particular car. But the fact that what we've done is negotiated a discount of 6.8%, you get a better deal than national lease offer. And the problem with this is, right, you're going to reach out to a bunch of dealers. Some may honor it, some may not. I don't know, each deal is different, but that's the problem that we try to solve with DriveMatch.com. And again, dealers always, try to, slide in fees. They're trying to sell you extra warranties. They're trying to, I don't know. It just depends on the dealer, but it's not a pleasurable buying experience in many, many cases. Whereas with DriveMatch, we're fully transparent. What you see is what you pay. And yeah, that's the problem that we're trying to solve. That, we're trying to just make the car buying and car leasing process super simple. Now, in this part of the video, what I want to do is use the auto loan calculator, and I want to show you why leasing this particular car is a much better financial decision than leasing this same car. So we'll use a selling price of $52,765, which is the MSRP of the vehicle. Let's do a 72-month term. Let's use a 0% interest rate, right? Let's just assume you got a 0% interest rate. Nothing down. I'll do New York just to keep things consistent. I'll use a 6.8% tax rate, and then we'll include all fees in the loan. We'll do $1,500 since that's kind of roughly the number that I used in the lease calculations when we're looking at the national lease ad. Now, if I hit calculate, you'll see that the monthly payment is $803 a month. And ladies and gentlemen, on DriveMatch, you can get the same car with zero down, nothing due at signing for $485 a month. That's $300 a month in savings, right? $3,600, excuse me, a year, right? I mean, that's substantial savings. Now, a lot of you are going to say, hey, Ravi, but nobody's paying $52,765 for this Hyundai Ioniq 5. Okay, I agree with that. Okay, let's say you got a $12,000 discount. So your selling price is $40,765. You'll see that the monthly payment with zero down and a 0% interest rate is still $625 a month. So you're not even close to the monthly lease payments that we have on DriveMatch, or for that matter, not even close to the monthly lease payment if you were to get this national lease deal. And on top of that, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 is fully electric, so depending on how much you drive, I think you could probably save $100 to $150 a month. That's not unreasonable to save that. So you can lower your effective monthly payment even more, and that's if you charge at home, right? So, and on top of that, I think Hyundai, I don't know if they're doing it, but they were offering 24 months of Electrify America charging. So if you were able to charge at a public charger, for the majority of the time that you own this car, it would be kind of a pain to do because public chargers aren't really that convenient. But if you wanted to, you could probably save even more money. But all in all, this is a fantastic lease deal. The national lease offer is awesome. The deal on DriveMatch.com is even better. But if you guys have any other questions about car leasing or about DriveMatch.com, let me know in the comment section below and I will be sure to get back to you. Happy Friday, everyone. Financial knowledge is power. Please like and follow for more.